Hey everybody, welcome back to Excel 10 Minute Leaders Live. My name is Graham Brown, the first in this series of a Singapore to Singapore interview. So looking forward to this. We've not gone international, we've gone local now. And joining us in the studio to talk about an area that I'm very curious and fascinated by is thought leadership. Nidhi Belani. Nidhi, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Graham. Super excited to be here. I actually thought it was 11. I've been sitting on my chair since 11.
Oh, you have? Well, you've got no excuses with time zones because we're in the same time zone, so you can't
Absolutely.
play that
I
one.
was just excited. I was really excited.
Great. Well, it's good to have you here. We've got 10 minutes together. Are you ready? Let's do it. Okay. Nidhi Belani, your 10 minutes starts now. Formality. What does it say on your business card?
Okay. Interview and people skills coach.
Okay. What does an interview and people skills coach do, Nidhi?
So I started this coaching academy, which I named Success Talks in 2017, because I really wanted to help all the cabin crew aspirants out there who wanted to achieve their dream job and fly the friendly skies. Given that I was in the industry for about 10 years, I flew with Singapore for 10 years. It kind of progressed into being a niche, and that's how the whole thing came about. I was more of a people skills coach, and then it developed into being an interview coach. So that's what I currently do. I primarily train candidates globally. We have, audience from pretty much all over. We have students from Egypt, Taiwan, US, UK, you name it, we have it. Primarily we just train career-oriented individuals to ace their interviews, not just cabin crew, any interviews, and get hired for their dream job by focusing on every single aspect of the interview preparation.
Very interesting. And especially as I imagine now that most interviews are probably done remote, aren't they? So people probably having to get a new set of skills, probably not used to doing this kind of interview as well. So how has it been the last 18 months with the whole work from home thing and what you do? How has that affected interviewing and also the skills that people bring to the table?
So personally, my work hasn't been affected a lot, although I'm getting less of the aviation aspirants, but I'm getting a lot of people who would want to crack interviews because I guess it's both up and down on both sides. So I have been always online. I've always been in the online space, and that is where I wanted to create that thought leadership as well, because I know a lot of people who, do these kind of things from a physical space. They set up an institute, but I really wanted to go online because I wanted to breach that barrier of a physical space. I wanted to go international. So, all the social media following that we have is primarily international. We have YouTube, we have Instagram, Facebook, and all these things. So personally, coaching hasn't been affected because it was always online. But yes, in terms of interviews, we have pivoted a little bit. We're not just training cabin crew, we're also training any and everyone who's going for interviews. And from the interviewer's perspective, yes, most interviewers would conduct like a virtual interview. So we've actually come up with something interesting. And I call this Airflix. Just like Netflix, we've come up with this program that we call Airflix. So this is like a closed Facebook group where we invite people to actually practice on a video call with us. So the whole idea is that, you get a question, you record yourself, and then we give you all the tips that you need to know in terms of how to set up your virtual background. And I know that I'm not setting the right example, but I was really hoping this is going to be a Zoom call. So my green screen is not set up, but, we take you through all those steps.
Doesn't matter for you.
We talk about everything that you need to from the interview preparation when you are doing it virtually. And yeah, we call it Airflix because it's like a subscription-based program. So you get in and, you do your questions, and then it's a subscription-based model. So you can practice as many questions as you want on a monthly basis. So yeah, we call it Airflix.
Okay, intriguing. I want to know you and your superpower in all of this, because you mentioned that you worked with Singapore Airlines. It was one of the premium airline brands, travel brands in the world. You obviously have a set of skills. What makes you really good at this in terms of coaching people and getting that out of them and helping them through that process?
So, of course, credibility makes a lot of difference. And I personally feel that before you can actually coach someone, you have to have the right credibility. So I'm actually a certified NLP coach. I'm a certified actor trainer. I'm a certified image consultant. I'm a certified hypnotherapist as well. So I actually use one portion that we have in part of our coaching is sort of anchoring people to be able to help them with certain scripts to be confident and things like that. So I actually put all of that into practice. And of course, my experience as a cabin crew, being a people's person really comes into the play as well. Because, I always say this, when you're going for interviews, a lot of people think of it as a question answer session, but for me, it's really just about having a conversation at the end of the day. It's really about bringing yourself out there, bringing your personality and bringing your skills on the table. Trust me, the interviewers don't sit with a list of questions. A lot of us actually go through like 50, 60 questions, but we don't realize that interviewers are not really sitting with those questions. The questions are really based on what do you say in the interview and what's really on your CV and what do you project at the end of the day? So that's what I tell people, that, you've got to be able to just talk, just communicate.
But how do I do that? If I'm going to an interview, how do I just talk and how do I just communicate? It's easy for you because you're a natural in this environment. You like being in that environment where people, are needing communication, they're needing service, you need to be patient, you need to be good and really passionate about people as well. You're a natural, but not everybody's a natural like you, Nidhi. So how does somebody who might consider themselves an introvert, for example, or not much of a people person, how do they just talk? What are the easy wins there to get somebody up that learning curve when they go to interview?
So that's really interesting because just recently I've made a video on my YouTube channel where I've specifically focused on how can an introvert ace their interview, and I've shared these 5 tips that people
share
should
with us now, so then we can go and check out the video.
Absolutely. But even before I actually talk about introverts, just quickly sharing this here, and I understand everyone's different, and that's why our program is designed in such a way that we take you through a very step-by-step process. We don't just, throw you in there and tell you, okay, answer this question. We actually begin with a really great understanding of, what your personality is all about. We actually have a certified personality trainer who's on board with us. We go through, a proper goal setting, clarity training, and things like that. And after that, we kind of progress into doing some sort of NLP coaching where we go a little bit deeper into your issues because, for everyone, for not being confident in a certain area, there's always a different reason. We always look at the surface reason for someone not being confident. If I'm able to speak in front of the camera, or if someone is not able to speak in front of the camera, surface level, yes, I'm nervous. But what exactly is the reason behind that nervousness? Stems from a lot of different reasons. So just to give you an example, and this has happened in one of our live coaching sessions, we were doing like a mock interview, which is also part of our coaching. And one of the girls, she was actually answering brilliantly, but she was just really, really nervous. So I asked her, what's going on? And she said, if you were in front of me, I'll do amazing. But just because it's video, I don't feel that great. But to a lot of people, you would probably think that, she's nervous because it's video. But we actually went a little bit deeper. We dug deeper and we realized that a few years back, when she used to take her own photos, some of her friends actually told her that she really looks ugly. She looks ugly in those photos and she doesn't look good on camera. And that's where actually her insecurity stems from. It's not that she's not confident appearing in front of a video. It's actually that. So that's another part of it. What we do, we actually go into those really deep down issues. We deal with them. We do a lot of training, which is to help people by anchoring themselves for confidence and things like that. And after we've done all of that, we basically work on the communications part of it, making you feel more natural with all the techniques. And, this is what I always tell people. I can train you to answer any question today, given that you follow the techniques that I share with you, because, you can not practically prepare for every question that's out there, but you can actually learn all the techniques that are out there. So once you understand that, you become much more confident in the way you will strategically answer those questions, or how you would actually, lead the interviewers to ask you the questions that you want them to ask and things like that. So that actually gives you a lot more confidence because, again, at the end of the day, it's not a Q&A session. You're actually leading the interview sometimes. So those are some of the things that we talk about in the session. Yeah, and then we focus a lot on how do you present yourself? How do you groom yourself? Because, it's really important. A lot of people might just focus on communications part of it, but that confidence also comes from how do you believe in yourself and how do you look yourself in the mirror every day in the morning. So
So
that's
the whole package.
That's kind whole thing. But for introverts, especially, one tip that I always share with introverts is that apart from just doing all of these, I think what's really important is to be able to kind of like try and do a bit of ice breaking. I know it's not that easy sometimes to ask questions, but prepare yourself to do a bit of ice breaking. So that's one. Just not answering questions, but also asking questions at the same time, so that you look more interested. And one thing that's really crucial is to be able to build rapport when at the end of the interview. A lot of people leave the interview right at the end.
So sometimes a clumsy exit, isn't it? That when people go for the door, like you first, and they don't leave on a very positive note.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great place to build rapport and, leave that great impression. And as an introvert, you can definitely do that by asking questions because, introverts are very intriguing people. They pay attention to details. They're very observant. And, if you ask some relevant questions and engage the interviewers and just answering those questions for you, you've actually done a great job for yourself at the end of the day. So
absolutely. That tip, ask more questions, is probably the most valuable tip for anybody going for an interview. And I feel that a lot of people go to interview and they feel asking questions might be in some way impertinent or rude, that, I shouldn't ask a question. Or maybe they feel, I just want to get to the end of this without dying. I want to get to the end and get out. But the one that sits there and asks questions, say, okay, so Nidhi, why did you start this company? And tell me about how, you came to Singapore, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
As an interviewer, my personal experiences is, wow, this person really cares. This person maybe has done their research. This person wants to know more, isn't frightened to death, and wants to engage. And I think it's completely underrated, asking questions.
Absolutely. I so agree with you.
And it's not rude. I think maybe in Singapore, we might think it's a bit rude as well.
No, so I asked a really funny question to my interviewers when I was sitting in my leading interview. So when I was appearing for my leading stewardess, when I wanted to take it a notch higher, I actually asked like a really funny question because that's just me, I like to be really witty when it comes to interviews.
Well, you got remembered, right?
Sorry?
You got remembered.
Yes, I got remembered for sure. And I cracked it and I got it. And I still remember, this is what the interviewers told me: you're the first person who actually made us laugh today.
There you
and
go.
I actually asked a really stupid question.
What did you ask? Do you remember?
Yeah. So there were just like a deck of placards, and you have to pick up a situation. And I just kind of said that, can I shuffle them because I want to see where my luck takes me.
All right.
I just don't want to pick up the first one. And then they were like, yeah, sure. Why not? So, I know it's not one of those most intelligent questions that you would ask, but yeah, I'm just making
Does it matter?
Yeah.
That's the point, isn't it? We're all trying to impress people so much, but actually possibly the most effective way of engaging people is to stop impressing people and start engaging them. And it shows you're human, and it shows they're human as well. It maybe lowers, you've got to remember the interviewer is probably quite nervous as well.
Yes.
That they're not maybe loving this situation. They don't necessarily want to be very formal. So if you break that ice, that's powerful, especially for the kind of roles that you're going for, right? That shows here's somebody that's not afraid. Here's somebody that really cares about connecting with people and has a bit of a personality as well. Think about how that would play out in the service industry or working with people as well.
Yeah,
These are fantastic tips.
I always tell them, interviews are not looking for perfection. They're looking for personalization. So you've got to break that barrier. You don't have to be perfect. We're not hiring robots.
No. That day is not yet here. We're still hiring human beings. And to be honest, there was a hotel in Japan which famously replaced all their front staff with robots. It's called Henna Hotel. And, you walk into the concierge and it would be a robot and it would take you to the room and a robot would come and pick up your laundry. And people hated it.
I'm sure.
The irony is what all the human beings are in the laundry room doing the laundry. They had it the wrong way around. The robot should have been back there and the humans out front. That will never go away. And that's what we should. Otherwise, that's the authentic part of the connection as well. You can't replace. Nidhi Belani, everybody. How about that? Where do we find out more about you?
So we are on a lot of different social media platforms, but I think the best way to engage with us would be to go to the website, which is me myself. So it's nidhi-belani.com. And once you're there, you can actually get a lot of stuff. We do have a free checklist to help you ace your interviews in style. So that's one thing people can do. And then if you want to watch videos and you know those 1-minute tips that we make, we do have a YouTube channel by the name of Nidhi Belani, and also Instagram, which is belani.nidhi1.
Excellent. No excuses. Go and check it out and learn more. And there's a lot of content there as well that you could learn from. Nidhi Belani, thank you very much for joining us and sharing those tips with us today.
You're welcome, Graham. I had a great time. Thank you.